We are chatting with bluegrass legend Rhonda Vincent. Rhonda is bringing her band, The Rage, to the Harvester Performance Center in Rocky Mount. And Rhonda, let's get to the show here in just a little bit, but you grew up in Green Top, Missouri, not exactly a bluegrass hotbed. What were you listening to growing up? Did you hear a lot of bluegrass around the house?
Well, that's just what we did. It wasn't necessarily listening, I guess. It was much more of performing. There's music traced back 5 generations of the Vincent family. When I was 5, we had a television show, a radio show, made our first recording. So it was a very intense life of music. It was a constant focus. And, the TV show, the radio show, my dad, when I got school age, my dad picked me up from school every day. When I got home, Grandpa, and I would sing till dinner, and after dinner, friends came over, and there was a music party at my grandparents' house, which was just a house away from ours, and this was every night. And, if somebody came new to the area, they would, because I grew up in this little tiny town of Green Top, and there wasn't, besides a grocery store, I think that's all there really was in town. And so there was this music party. People knew, if you said, what's going on in town, it was like really nothing except for the Vincents always have a music party. So it was this wonderful life of music that I thought everyone was at their house doing the same thing. When you're little, it's just what you do.
Right.
So it wasn't necessarily, and people say, when did you choose this as a career? It's like, I didn't really choose it. It was just a way of life that evolved into a career. And, I put my first band together, it was only like, maybe 18 years ago, not that long ago, if you look at my entire lifetime. And we were talking, there's not a single year, I've never taken a year off, or I don't even think taken a month off. There's never, since the time I was born, I started singing when I was 3, and I immediately started being featured in our family band. At that time when I was little, it was my mom and dad, grandpa, aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends. So everybody got a turn. It's just something that I love it so much. It's something that I live each and every day, and I'm so thrilled and so blessed to have a career that I love so much.
Well, and it sounds like you're passing that career on to the next generation of your family, right? I think your daughters and everybody else is getting in on the act now too.
They are. My daughter Sally she has started traveling with us 3 years ago, unexpectedly, when Mickey had some voice issues. And she said, I'll come out and help you out. She said, she never, ever intended to be traveling on the road. But what happened is she got out here and she loved it so much. She said, you're not getting rid of me. She's a vocal instructor at East Tennessee State University in Johnson City. So, she's got a pot-bellied pig at home his name is Merle Hoggard. She's got dogs, and she loved being home. And now all of a sudden, she's like, I love this. She started writing songs. She's creating her very first project. In fact, we've been working on it. She's been sending me the cover, and we've been tweaking all of that. Very excited. It's coming out very, very soon. Maybe even, it'll be very close by the time that we're there in Rocky Mount. But she wrote most of the songs, and she has such a beautiful voice. And I'm so, so proud of her. That, and not, I could go in and just do I'll make the CD for you, or I'll do this, right, or I'll mix. It's like she is learning each and every step. I might say, I would suggest you go to this person, but then she takes it from there, and she is learning through this, and it's really amusing to me to watch. She I can't believe this, or I said, I know, I've always gone through this. It's something you have to do, or here's what I would do, but letting her experience this on her own and not just doing it for her, and it really making a life lesson out of this.
Well, the show is October 26th. It's a Friday at the Harvester in Rocky Mount. You're not going to want to miss this show, folks. Rhonda Vincent and The Rage. All right, Rhonda, let's talk about your most recent album, Rhonda Vincent and The Rage, with Bluegrass Legends live at the Ryman. How cool was this to get up there with 4 people that I guess you grew up listening to and have crossed paths with before, but to get out there and play and get it all captured on record like you did?
Well, it's always very special, and to be at the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, and then to be there with Jesse McReynolds, Mac Wiseman, Bobby and Sonny the Osborne brothers. The Osbournes' music is probably the most influential on my family's music. It continues into what we do now. and we love their instrumentation, their vocal arrangements, and we tried to emulate everything that they did. It just boggles my mind when I think to myself, like, oh my goodness, I've been to Sonny Osborne's house, and I get an email from Bobby Osborne that says, "How's my little all-American bluegrass girl?" It just melts my heart, and sometimes I have to pinch myself. It's like these are the remaining bluegrass legends from the originals, and so it's really special to have this project live at the Ryman. This whole year has been totally amazing. We started the year we were in New York City. We got to perform with Vince Gill for the opening of the Grand Ole Opry in Times Square. That same day, got to ring the closing bell at the New York Stock Exchange with Vince Gill. 2 days later, we won our first Grammy for All the Rage Volume 1. It's a CD and a DVD. From that, our newest song is from the Elton John, Bernie Taupin project. It's a tribute to them called Restoration. And we have a song with Dolly Parton called Please. And if that's not enough, I literally woke up to news. I went to see if I could find a stream of it on the radio. Dolly Parton was talking about a new movie that's coming out called Dumplin', and produced by Jennifer Aniston. And I got to sing on the soundtrack with Dolly and Alison Krauss. And so this year is beyond anything, could ever, you pray, oh, please God, could I do this? Or please God, could we win this Grammy? But these are experiences I could never even think of. It's just amazing, the blessings that God has provided and the things he puts in our path that I never expected.
The names that you mentioned there alone, I mean, talking about the Osborne brothers and Dolly Parton, and you've worked with plenty of big names in your past too, Keith Urban, Gene Watson, Jim Ed Brown, all these people. What's that like when you get up there with the people that you've been growing up listening to and even listening to as an adult? I mean, is it a little bit scary sometimes?
It's very intimidating, and I think when you get into, just walk in a room with Dolly Parton, let alone you're behind it. They filmed and were recording and filming at the same time. I got to play mandolin on this new song and sing, and she's there looking at you, just watching you. And you really do have to say, you got to pull this together. And this is what I always tell kids, and I don't think they really grasp it, but they will if they ever get in this situation. It's, what they say, what advice can you give me? It's like, take every opportunity to perform. And I mean, in every instance that you can possibly perform, let everything go wrong or that could possibly go wrong. Let yourself react to all these different situations, because it prepares you for that single moment that you go, oh my goodness, I've made it here. This is amazing. And I think that pivotal moment for me was, my dad he always insisted we go play at the nursing home every month. We went to do a show there every month. We would sing at a funeral, whatever they would invite us to do. Because, a funeral, my brother and I would be like, oh my goodness, we don't know this person. Dad said, no, somebody is going to have to do this, and someday somebody will do this for you, and we're going to be there for these people. So always giving. My mom and I were talking. My dad always taught many, many life lessons. Every opportunity was a lesson, but he prepared us for that single moment that it's, there you are, all the pressures of that moment. And if you don't have that experience, you can really crumble in that moment. For me, the pivotal time was standing on live television on the Country Music Association, the CMA Awards, and singing with Dolly Parton and Norah Jones. Now, I'm thinking to myself, I should be so nervous right now. But it was so calming because my father had prepared me for that moment. And so here I am among all of these professionals. It's like, wow, it really gives you a real confidence to know, yes, I can do that. And I think a real testament to, like, it's hard work that you do. It's a wonderful reward. You work hard, you practice, you perfect your craft, and you be ready for that moment.
Great stuff. We're talking with bluegrass legend Rhonda Vincent. Her website, rhondavincent.com. Let's change gears a little bit, Rhonda. I want to talk about songwriting because I think you're underrated as a songwriter. I think most people see on stage your playing ability, your singing ability, etc. But I think your songwriting is just so good. What's your process there? Do the songs just come to you, or do you sit down every so often and knock on the door and try and come up with something? How does that work for you?
I usually have to be inspired. It's very difficult for me to sit down and say, I'm going to write a song. In fact, I've had ideas. In fact, I have all of these phone. I'll be driving and I hit record and just record a melody or an idea, write it down. I have all of these things. I really have to force myself to sit down and to finish these up. I can start a million of them, but it's difficult to continue on. It's also difficult for me to co-write. I've tried that several times. I'm better off emailing them a piece of whatever I have. They email it back and we go back and forth rather than sitting down and just looking at each other. That's very difficult for me unless I'm inspired to do that. And I think just the fact that someone else is there, it takes my focus away from really concentrating on that. I have to really be by myself and be in that mode. I don't understand how these professional songwriters, they go to work. They go and they write songs from 9 to 5 or 10 to 6 or whatever the time frame is. That's just difficult for me to do, but I appreciate that very much. I love being able to write the songs, and I am so proud of Sally. She started writing because of her fear of flying, and she put that energy into just getting these songs, and she's written all these original songs. They're so unique. They have these amazing melodies. They have, it's an all-gospel CD, and so the message is very clear and very straightforward. The very first song she said that starts off the CD is "Sinner, oh Sinner, Are You Afraid to Die?" It's like, wow, you're just going to come out with this line first on your CD? She goes, yeah. She says, I want to set the tone with that. It's like, woo.
Did you start writing songs around her age, or did that come a little bit later in your career? Or maybe earlier, I don't know.
I was 16, and I don't know. I must have been heartbroken and it's a song that Sally actually recorded first. I wrote it when I was 16, and we used to perform it, called Teardrops Over You. Never even thought about it until Sally and my other daughter, Tinsel, they had a band in college, and they went to make a recording, and I said, oh, I got a song I wrote, and I've never recorded it. She goes, I love that, a brand new song like that. I ended up doing it on the Country's Family Reunion. But songs just started coming to me. I started playing guitar by necessity in order to accompany and write a song. It's a little harder to write a song on a mandolin. So I've started playing guitar, loved James Taylor, and got the James Taylor book of songs, and it shows the guitar chords. And so I started learning his songs and then writing from that. But I really have to be inspired, and usually it's something somebody says, or maybe just a mood that I'm in that someone else is feeling, such as my executive assistant, Julia Modishard. She was getting married, and she had told me long ago, so I'm never going to find anybody. And years went by, and she did. She met this guy, and she asked. I was her wedding planner, and she couldn't figure out the songs. And do you know, after our meeting on the wedding, I went back to the back of the bus and wrote the song for her wedding that says, I give all my love to you. So usually it's inspired by something like that.
Rhonda Vincent is playing mandolins, singing songs, and planning weddings. What don't you do, Rhonda?
Well, that's the only wedding I've ever planned besides my own.
Well, so far. There could be more.
But you know what? And I said, if I'm going to do this, her wedding was at the Ryman Auditorium. So I think I did pretty well on that. And I wrote the song for her wedding. But that was probably one of those once-in-a-lifetime events.
Great stuff. We're chatting with Rhonda Vincent. She's going to be in Rocky Mount at the Harvester Friday, October 26th. Hey, Rhonda, if we got a little bit more time, take us through your band, because I know a lot of these guys have been with you for a while. You've got that great connection. You sound great on stage, and sometimes the bands don't get enough credit.
They are at the top of their game. I think they're one of the best. All of the musicians, they are stellar musicians, world class in their own right, and then collectively making up the Rage for, I think, one of the greatest bands in music in the world. And you could come and see them and enjoy their incredible talent. We have and you know what, that's that experience, that's that longevity. There's no shortcuts to getting a band together and having that cohesiveness of just playing together for many years. And Hunter, who is also my son-in-law, married to Sally, he's been in the group longer than anyone else. He joined when he was 17, and I think he's coming up on 17 years. So you do the math, you can figure out how old he is. But he's fiddle player, award-winning. Mickey Harris follows him. 6 months later, Mickey Harris joined the group. So next July, I think, will be his 17th year as a member of the Rage. Then we have, who is next? Well, Josh Williams was a member of the group. He departed. He returned He's a 3-time IBMA Guitar Player of the Year. He's an amazing vocalist. Um, and he collectively has been in the group 10 years. And then Aaron McDarris, and we were talking about this, amazing banjo player. You might have seen it. He was on The Voice about 3 years ago with an artist. Blake Shelton said, "Can we get a real banjo player?" They needed it for a song that he was planning. And Aaron McDarris was flown to Hollywood and performed with 2 of the artists that night. And and he's been he's from Hartville, Missouri, so we kind of have a kindred spirit being from Missouri. And he's been in the group 10 years, and and at the end of this year, I can't believe that. On Dobro, we added added Dobro, I guess, 7. He's been here almost 7 years. That doesn't seem possible either. And he is also married to my youngest daughter, Tinsel. So we have Brent Burke, who's from Alabama. He is a college graduate from ETSU, as is Sally. But he was the first recipient. They had a brand new degree. He holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in bluegrass, old time, and country music. So very special. One of the greatest dobro players you'll ever hear. They are just, you know what? They are not only great musicians, but this was my goal, to put together the ultimate band of incredible musicians and incredible people. And they are all, I mean, everybody gets along. We have a great time. And we all share the passion for the music and for the travel.
You got to have that, especially with the amount of dates that you're putting in. And like you said, you really haven't even taken much time off in your career. I guess that leads me to my next question. What's next for Rhonda Vincent and the Rage? Where do you go from here? Maybe a new album in the works or something special on the way we can look forward to?
I need to, that's what I've been trying to focus at times, to writing the songs and doing it. We haven't had a studio project. Almost every project has been a live album, and I don't know how that happened, but it was just the opportunities just continued. And now we still have our All the Rage Volume 2. All the Rage Volume 1 won the Grammy this year, but it's also a DVD and a CD that is basically needs to be completed. And then the guys called me and said, are you ready to start to work and get this finished? And I said, I'm enjoying just not working on anything, because I worked on that Ryman project was the most extensive, the most expensive project I've ever worked, but also the most rewarding because of the bluegrass legends on there. So I just needed a break I'm at the lake house now. It's a little too cold to go fishing this morning, so we had breakfast. I'm just kind of chilling out. And then what I find that I do, it's like, okay, I come here to rest. And then all of a sudden I start getting in a panic. It's like, I need to write the songs. I need to do this. I need to get this finished. It's like, it's hard for me just to shut it all down and not think about it. But a few days of that is nice, and then I'll get back at it.
Rhonda, we really appreciate the time. Thank you so much. I hope fans come out and see you October 26th. It's a Friday night show at the Harvester. You guys are going to have that place rocking, I think, right?
It's going to be awesome. Go to RhondaVincent.com. You can find out a lot of more information. Join me on my Facebook. It's Rhonda Vincent Official. Send in your requests, and we try to play the songs that you want to hear.
Hey, there we go. Excellent stuff. Rhonda, thank you so much. This was fun. We should do it again next time you're in town.